Well, welcome. Good morning. We're really glad that you're here. My name's Ben. I'm the COO for Rally, the Social Enterprise Accelerator. Rally is a network of entrepreneurs, business leaders, corporations, our municipal governments, higher education, Rollins College, all coming together to release social enterprise strategy to address intractable problems, especially problems that are relevant here in Central Florida. We work with entrepreneurs all over the world, and today we have an hour-long showcase of the fellows who have just completed our 4-month program. They're gonna, in 3 quick minutes, go through for you their business model and their social impact strategy, and then we'll have some live Q&A. It's always an energizing and inspiring hour, and so we're glad that you're taking a little bit of time out of this important Tuesday to be with us. Not Tuesday, today's Monday. I'm thinking ahead to Election Day tomorrow. But before we get started, we want to hear from Rob Panapinto, our board chair.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Very excited to be here, and I really can't wait to hear from the entrepreneurs. We've been doing this now for 8 years, and two cohorts a year, and I'm always inspired by what our social entrepreneurs are working on and how we can help them scale. I do want to thank the folks that help us make this possible. First, Ben had mentioned our founding partners. That includes the Central Florida Foundation, who does enormous support for us in basically providing really all of our back office, as well as a lot of strategic insight. An organization that Ben started years ago called Rally Makers, which became one of the foundations for what we built here at Rally. An organization that I and several others on this call helped launch, called Entrepreneurs in Action, which was originally designed to help nonprofits figure out how they could move beyond pure philanthropic models. Ben had mentioned Rollins College, who's helped us develop a lot of the curriculum around how we work with social impact companies. The city of Orlando, who I'll mention again in a moment, who has been with us from the very beginning, and I think really understands the power that social enterprises can have on building community and making life better for citizens and residents of a community. And Clean the World, an amazing global social impact company that works with hotels to recycle their soap and plastic and then distribute it to NGOs and nonprofits around the globe to impact global hygiene issues. I also want to thank our sponsors and supporters. Ben had mentioned that we are fortunate enough to receive government support. I had already mentioned the city of Orlando, who's been with us from the very beginning, but also Orange County, who's worked with us in a way that's really helped us allow us to really grow and scale the program. And then our Rally Makers. So our Rally Makers, many of whom are on this call, are what Ben likes to call Orlando's most innovative philanthropists. Many of them are experienced entrepreneurs, some are corporations, and they give both their time and their treasure to work with the entrepreneurs to help scale their businesses, and we would not be able to do this without them. So I'm very grateful for that. And what I'd love to do now is introduce Evan Novell. Evan is the Future Ready manager for the city of Orlando, and he'll talk a little bit about the Future Ready partnership, but it's been one of the most important partnerships for Rally and for our entrepreneurs. So Evan, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rob and Ben. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon if you're still in the process of falling back. As mentioned, my name is Evan Novell. I'm part of the City of Orlando Sustainability, Resilience, and Future Ready team. Future Ready is our innovation initiative here at the city, and that means I'm lucky enough to be involved in our innovative work with the Rally Accelerator. You're probably familiar with Mike Hess, our director. You may have worked with him in the past. So I wanted to just give a brief background on myself, since today is not about me, but about many of the innovators and change makers working in the city and across Central Florida. As mentioned, my name is Evan Novell. My tenure with the city started back in 2018. So while my face is pretty new to this crowd, I have been engaged with sustainability and resilience efforts with the city for a little under 7 years now. Since then, primarily been focused on solid waste, zero waste, waste diversion efforts. I am newly minted in this role as the Future Ready Initiative Manager, and I'm super excited to not only kick things off today and eventually facilitate some of these ideas and projects as they gain traction, but also to learn and grow with the community as those same ideas and projects take shape. For anyone not familiar with our office's mission statement, it does contain two key words: innovation and collaboration. And while I think the former of these largely speaks for itself, the latter is really more germane to what today is all about. So, unfortunately, I have not been around for the development and implementation of many of the previous partnerships we've had through Rally. But fortunately, through them, I think the groundwork has been laid to really showcase the Rally Accelerator program and highlight its importance, its viability, and most importantly, its ability to make positive, lasting change in some of those sustainability and resilience gaps across our communities. So since 2021, we've increased our investment in the program and had the incredible opportunity to collaborate with partners like Lumi and Stellar, who have provided more efficient lighting at one of our public parking garages. Block and Lock, whose mortarless concrete block technology will be used to create raised garden beds at one of our urban ponds. Wriggle Brew, which has provided Lou Gardens with a worm-based fertilizer that also acts as a pest control, and many others over the years. So, having mentioned some of our more recent wins through the program, I'm thrilled to welcome everyone to the Rally 2024 Social Venture Virtual Workshop. It is a workshop that represents a vibrant partnership between Rally and the City of Orlando team. And it's a collaboration that highlights our shared commitment to fostering innovation and entrepreneurship. Together, we're building a much more resilient and inclusive community where creative solutions directly address some of those local challenges. So today, you'll have the opportunity to learn, connect, and grow alongside fellow changemakers who are equally passionate about making a difference. And just to close it out on my part, on behalf of the City of Orlando and Office of Sustainability and Resilience and Future Ready, I want to thank you for your attendance and participation today, and look forward to seeing the impact of our continued collaboration.
Awesome. Thanks, Evan, for being here and for giving us that overview. Part of Rally's theory and thesis is that Central Florida has the ripe ecosystem for everything an early stage social entrepreneur needs to grow and scale their organization. And a big part of that is both of our municipalities, the City of Orlando and that Future Ready program, and Orange County and their economic development strategy to invest in early stage entrepreneurs. And the voice for that strategy at Orange County is Carrie Black. Carrie, thanks for being here with us today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. So I'm Carrie Black. I'm the Chief Sustainability and Resilience Officer here for the Orange County. It's just a pleasure to be here. Rally and the impact within our community here in Orange County and Central Florida is really tremendous. I get to brag on some of the things that Rally has been doing, such as empowering social entrepreneurs. So Rally has provided education and training to over 100 social entrepreneurs, showcasing solution opportunities that are specifically tailored to the needs of Orange County, and that is so true. Also, there's been lots of recent workshop successes. So Rally collaborated with 15 local nonprofits and entrepreneurs at a recent workshop, guiding them in the development and growth of their ventures. And this year, Rally has hosted 4 workshops focused on equipping local entrepreneurs with the strategies and tools necessary to build successful social entrepreneurships. And so it really is, Rally is all about strategic partnerships, which is what we are all about here at Orange County, all throughout the county, and then also here, particularly in the Office of Sustainability. That is really how we help move that green needle and the social needs as well, really being able to address that. So Rally has partnered with both Orange County and other key organizations within the Central Florida ecosystem to identify and address community-specific social issues leveraging rally participants to engage in meaningful solution development. And this is so true. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to be at the workshop back in September that was here in person in Orange County in Orlando, and being able to hear the fellows' presentations and learn about the issues that they are tackling and the creative and innovative ways that they're going about it. And it was so exciting to see the enthusiasm, the passion, and these creative ideas, and how they are really working to tackle the issues that we are facing here at the county. And it really takes a village. So excited to see our social entrepreneurs graduating from this program, and just looking forward to all the great success that they will each have. So Ben, thank you so much for this opportunity, and looking forward to seeing you all in the headlines of how successful you all have been.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Both the city and Orange County are such critical partners for Rally. And like Rob mentioned, in addition to those municipal partners, we have these Rally makers that I think of as Orlando's innovative philanthropists. One of the last pieces is our staff team. So me as the COO, Kyle Steele as our program director, and Erica Sanders Ricketts as our operations coordinator, director of operations. And the three of us make the staff team that execute all the programming for Rally. Our headline program is this Accelerator. It runs twice a year, 4 months long, and we bring anywhere from 8 to 12 entrepreneurs through that program twice a year. And the applications are open now for our winter cohort, so get in there. And we are really looking for entrepreneurs who are building any organization, for profit or nonprofit, but are animated by intractable problems and have a deep desire to go beyond servicing symptoms, but drive towards solutions that address these problems meaningfully and develop an earned income stream so that their strategy is self-sustainable over time. We like to help them build their business model and their impact strategy so that both the business model and the impact work to have the desired outcome on the world that we want to see, and perpetuate the organization on their own. We have been in business for over 7 years, worked with well over 100 entrepreneurs, and what you're going to see today is a really good representation of what these world-class social entrepreneurs look like. They're addressing problems like housing, education, inclusion, disability advocacy, adaptive apparel, advancing clean technologies, problems that are worth solving. And so as you're listening to them, what we'd love is for you to be thinking about how you can help them take their next step, whether that's an introduction, a customer, an investor. Listen as they're going through their 3 minutes and think about how you might help them take their next step forward. Our first Rally Fellow that we have for you today is Julia DeNey.
Hi, I'm Julia DeNey, the founder of Sensational You. We make adaptive clothing for autistic and ADHD children that need help with sensory regulation in order to succeed and be included. I majored in fashion design at Cornell University, where I led an independent study into adaptive apparel alongside a local autism preschool. Upon graduating in 2020, I began working in special education and saw how widespread it was that unmet sensory needs were disrupting learning, and how the sensory clothing I created could help solve this. The problem we're solving is that 54% of autistic students are underachieving academically as reported by their teacher, as compared to 8% of their neurotypical peers. And this is largely due to unaddressed behavioral, emotional, and sensory needs. So we're here to help the children with sensory processing disorder stay engaged and learning in the classroom. We're going to take them from underachieving to achieving by creating clothing that meets their sensory needs, educating parents and teachers about the importance of sensory needs and how to use these tools to meet them. We're going to be monitoring this by looking at rates of school exclusions and suspensions, and we want to see a reduction in these rates. We also want to see an increase in test scores, teacher reports about academic achievement, and graduation rates. To fulfill this mission, we're going to sell our clothing directly to parents of neurodivergent children in order to solve their biggest problem, which is to help their children regulate in order to move through life successfully. Existing sensory tools often get lost and damaged. They invite unwanted attention and criticism, and they're often uncomfortable. Clothing is also uncomfortable with their tags and seams, making them intolerable to wear. We're addressing all of these problems by creating sensory-friendly clothing with built-in sensory tools. That way, they always have access to comfortable and discreet and stylish sensory tools because they are always on them. We currently sell direct-to-consumer on our website and shoppable social media content, and heading into 2025, we're going to expand into wholesale and marketplace opportunities. Our year-to-date revenue and unit sales from last year to this year have nearly doubled. And as the solo founder and only team member of Sensational You, I have built it all myself. I have used consultants where needed, such as this year for SEO and email marketing. And now as we grow, I'm open to bringing on board members and other founding team members to help us scale. In keeping with our sales doubling every year, our goal is to have $200,000 in revenue in 2025. In order to get there, I'm going to need introductions to autism organizations, schools, services, and therapists, all of which can act as advocates and potential customers for our products, as well as connections and ideas for wholesale partnerships, and access to inventory funding, particularly around debt financing, so that I can do larger inventory runs in order to decrease our margins and have these wholesale partnerships be more sustainable. I'm excited to answer all your questions.
Julia, thanks for being here. That was awesome 3 minutes. And like seeing the start, that first little slide reminded me like your background, like that college degree in like fabric and design and then teaching in special needs classroom. It's almost like this was a master design from the beginning. Like, did you know you would end up here, or does it just happen that you have the perfect background for it?
No, it definitely sort of came together over time. I always knew I wanted to do something impactful with fashion. I definitely didn't want to go into just fast fashion or runway, but it all kind of came together in college very separately. I started volunteering with a local autism preschool, and they brought up clothing challenges to me, and I kind of fell down this independent research rabbit hole of adaptive fashion and how fashion can be used for social good. And because I graduated into the pandemic, the fashion industry was shut down, so I couldn't go work in fashion. So I kind of fell into working in special education because that was the other thing that really interested me. And then I was able to kind of blend the two into a business to help.
That's so cool. And I feel like that's a common social entrepreneur story of like an area of passion or a volunteer spot that grows into work. What would you say is the hardest part for you? What has been the hardest part in getting the ball started with Sensational You?
Yeah, I think kind of two sides of it. One is definitely supply chain and getting the products to be made the way we want them, given that it kind of goes against the grain in a lot of ways of traditional clothing production. So working really hands-on with the factories in that way. And I think the other side is just kind of the education and getting it out there. I think the products are pretty unique. And a lot of parents don't have kind of the education of knowing what they're even looking for to know to look for sensory clothing or look for alternatives if things aren't working. So I think that kind of side of it and figuring out the best way to educate our consumer on what our products are and how they help is something that I'm always like continuously working on. Yeah,
that makes sense to me. I love that hoodie with the sound deprivation hood over the top. I mean, I don't think I need it, but I kind of feel like I need it, right? Like I imagine you run into that a lot.
I think that's the best part. I think the best part is like I always say, like it is for everyone, and that's what makes it inclusive. Is that it's great. I use the adult sample on every plane ride because it has an eye mask that can pull down and you can nap on the plane. So there's definitely like a lot of great purposes for adaptive apparel, which I love.
Julia, tell me what you're doing next. What's coming very next for you and your company?
Yeah, the very next steps are working on this current production run we have, where we're expanding into adult sizes and iterating off of our bestsellers, such as the sound reducing hoodie, kind of taking in consumer feedback and adding in things such as pockets and thumb holes and just kind of these upgraded new features. And then heading into 2025, taking that and these new products that come in and really expanding into this wholesale and sale partnership so that I'm not hunting down customers one by one, but really finding where they're already shopping and being able to kind of meet them where they already are and not fight for each customer individually as much.
Awesome. Well, Julia, it's been super fun to work with you for 4 months, and I'm like, it's such a clean product with a clear mission. We're very excited to see what comes next, and we know there's great things out in front of you. So congratulations, and we look forward to what's next, Julia.
Thank you.
Our next Rally Fellow is Lonna Hardin.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lonna Hardin, founder of Voice Blocks. We're a social impact venture helping families navigate the complex world of special education. Let me talk about how we're going to get to the social impact before I talk about the venture and how it's going to be sustainable. At age 3, my daughter had her first IEP. For 10 years, I took time off fighting for enforcement. I left meetings emotionally drained with zero help. I had to go through reevaluation 5 times. It caused stress, quality time, my social life, and more. In June, she graduated summa cum laude in the top 3% of her class. I learned firsthand that parent involvement in equitable education matter. 40% of special needs students from low-income households fail to graduate high school due to lack of resources and parental engagement, 25% less than the national average. There are 7.5 million students with disabilities. Our beneficiary are the millions living in low-income households across the U.S. We provide resources and support to help get these students across the finish line with the ultimate goal of increasing the graduation success rate. We plan to impact 5 key social outcomes: increase school attendance, increase completion of IEP goals, improve literacy rates, grades, and test scores. Now let's talk about the business. The U.S. has 7.5 million special needs students. All families want their child to graduate successfully and succeed. Many share the fears and frustration of being overwhelmed with the process. Our customers are K through 12th grade families of these students. Our ideal customers are those that make over $100,000. In our customer discovery, we confirm the process is tedious and complex. Families struggle to navigate it, communicate with schools, track progress, stay engaged, and be on top of things. Voice Blocks is an online platform to help families access resources and support. Their child's journey can be tracked in real time to monitor performance, better communicate with schools, get engaged with support, and find community. We generate revenue using tiered subscriptions, upgrades, community events, and by offering advertising and lead generation. We have both annual or monthly options. There are other groups tackling this issue. One received $1 million from Pharrell's Black Ambition. The other is focused on districts. We're different, providing community, our post-evaluation, and focus on graduation rate success. And right now we have 1 letter of intent. In summary, we believe special needs students can graduate and thrive when given what they need. Our team has a history of successes with more than 6 patents, 11 exits, 16 successful high-tech startups, 50 million raised, 12 new market products launched, 150 million in acquisition, and overseeing 125 employees. We need partnerships and money and are asking for $850,000 to launch our pilot, market, hire, and to build our product. Join us on this journey. We invite you to connect.
Lonna, dynamic presentation. Thank you for putting that together for us today. And I was really struck by the way you described the challenge and the desired impact and the beneficiary. It's a really good example of a real meaningful problem that can go unnoticed or unrecognized if you haven't been in that space before. And so congratulations to you for making it, for bringing it out in the front and for leaning into it, recognizing that it needs a solution. Can you talk a little bit about how you worked in the program on clarifying your impact strategy? I like the way you had that activities, that little diagram for us. Can you talk a little bit about that process for us?
Absolutely. So one thing I've loved being with Rally is that process that we went through to really, first of all, be able to hone in on our message of social impact and also that theory of change. And I think really we focused on our beneficiary, understanding that it would reach more people, but really around those who are the most vulnerable and helping us to really focus in on that. The second piece of it, which was really transformative for me, was okay, you're doing these activities, but how are these activities going to align with what you want to do? And also, how are you going to measure those, really to nail down our theory of change? So for me, it was definitely time well spent, and I'm forever grateful for the Rally team, the Rally makers, and just being a part of the program.
Yeah, thank you, Lonna. It's really fun to walk alongside someone who believes in the problem that they're addressing and really wants to drive towards meaningful solutions. I think it's really interesting how you have an online platform that helps people track it, because it can go across, like so much of this is school zone specific, right? But how do you create something that's online that can be accessed from people all over the place? Have you had any challenges or any particular successes in doing that, Lonna?
I think that we've had success in terms of speaking about the problem, talking to people that are impacted in different ways, everything from autism to traumatic brain injury to simple things like English language learners, and being able to understand that different demographics have different ecosystems and have to cater to those things. So I think that has been a plus for us, really honing in on the fact of the geographic targeting that we want to do, and also aligning that with the 13 different categories and how people are impacted. So yes, we've seen success, and we've seen families that have actually come to us and are just happy because they've had to navigate this alone, and we're providing community on top of that.
Yeah, I love that, Lana. And in your section where you were talking about customer discovery and you used the word tedious, and I felt like as a parent of 3 kids, it doesn't take much dealing with public education. They're doing the very best they can, and they're working with lots of students. So everything can get tedious very quickly. So that aspect of community, and then an advocate alongside of you must be really powerful. How does a customer engage with you? What are they purchasing, or how do they purchase?
Yeah, so it's a software where software is a solution. We're running pilots right now. So we offered 3 programs, really the basic, the medium, and then our premium program. And they can sign up, they can actually test out our software for 30 days, kind of get involved in that personalized learning and those online portions. And then we just want to bring them into our community and continue to develop those long-term relationships. So they can engage right now, really, by letting us know, expressing interest. We're testing right now these offers and just letting us know, hey, we would like to be one of those families that becomes a part of your community.
Awesome, Lana. We are very excited to see what comes next for Voice Blocks, and really proud to have been able to work with you over these 4 months. Thanks for being a part of the program, and we know there's lots more great to come. Thanks, Lana.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Our next Rally fellow, actually, we're going to spotlight a Rally maker next, Rajiv Menon. We mentioned Rally makers are the innovative philanthropists who help make Rally possible. And hey, there he is. Good to see you, Rajiv. Thanks for taking some time to be with us. Rajiv is like a founding Rally maker. It feels like we've been working together for a decade. He's on our board. He's an advocate for the entrepreneurial community here in Central Florida, leading Startup Weekend Orlando. Lots of great work, Rajiv. But what has brought you to the Rally Maker table? Why are you a Rally Maker?
Because you told me to, Ben. I just do what you tell me. I'm only half kidding, because when Ben talks, I mean, there's just so much authenticity with Ben, and it's just wonderful to work with people like Ben, which was one of the first things, of course, that drew me to the idea. Was when actually, Ben, you and I were both mentors at a different accelerator program is when I first met you.
Yeah, I remember.
And then you told me about the program. I mean, getting a bunch of really motivated leaders to pool their money together to help social enterprises just sounded perfect. But also, you are awesome. So I was drawn to.
Awesome people connect, Rajiv. It's good.
That's right. And
Yeah.
so that was the start of it. And then, of course, now 8 or 9 years later, I'm still here, obviously, because I really believe in the mission. And of course, we've achieved some pretty awesome things during that period. The team has grown tremendously and much more. We're on to bigger and better things, and the future looks brighter than ever. So,
Totally.
of course, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, Rajiv, like what do you if you think over the years you've been involved, you've done lots of different things. Is there anything that sticks out to you as a highlight or a real reason to go, oh, that's why I continue on the Rally Maker team? Something, a story or an event or an experience?
There have been a lot, and I think a lot of some of the highlights that we've talked about with folks that have gone on to do some pretty amazing things. But I get recharged every single cohort, because every single cohort is full of people with so many new ideas and addressing different issues with completely different approaches to those issues. And if people who've talked to me and know me, I love innovation methodology. So just getting in the weeds with those ideas and helping them find ways to monetize and scale and working on, figure out what's working and what's not is really very energizing for me. But more than that, really, I'm surrounded by people who are not just smart and skilled and technically savvy and all of that, but they really care about addressing those, intractable problems, as we call it at Rally. And as Rob often reminds us, social enterprises and nonprofits are really filling the gap that the free market is not able to, or the government is not able to. So really working on issues that matter in a sense that would probably go unaddressed if it wasn't for these founders. So yeah, to all the fellows that are presenting today, all the best to you. And I hope you all know that the work you do is crucial. And in my eyes, and a lot of us here at Rally, you're true change makers in a world that absolutely needs your help.
Rajiv, I agree that like the strategies, the new ideas are energizing, but for me, the rallying cry that keeps us coming back is that this is a group of people who feel like problems are worth solving rather than just ignoring. And it is interesting. I wouldn't have thought about the challenges that Lonna's addressing or Julia's addressing, or even that Lewis coming next. I wouldn't have thought about these problems. And it's energizing to find people who are not content to just look the other way, but want to drive in and try and address them. And so definitely Rajiv is one of our rally makers who helps them. We jokingly call him the startup ninja. He's got the lean startup methodology figured out. Rajiv, thanks for being on the team, for being on the board, for all the time that you give the fellows, every cohort. We really appreciate you and are glad to partner with you.
Thanks, Ben. Likewise, all the best to the fellows.
Awesome. So we're going to keep moving here this morning, and our next rally fellow is Mike Michel.
Hi, I'm Mike Michel, and I'm the founder of CaringPort, and I'm in the patient advocacy business. CaringPort provides a dedicated nurse advocate for seniors in nursing homes, offering families what most facilities cannot, a personalized real-time status of their loved one's care. And we're on a mission to provide affordable, sustainable care resources for seniors in nursing homes through continuous advocacy and support. 30% of the 1.5 million seniors in nursing homes are hospitalized annually with preventable health complications, and we aim to reduce that by 15% in the next 3 years. As seniors age, they become invisible, dismissed, and overlooked, and here's a further emphasizing why we need consistent oversight for these seniors. My journey started many years ago while working with a client inside a nursing facility and realizing how advocacy can increase the well-being of that person's care and lifespan. Our primary beneficiary will be the patient themselves, in addition to the 2.9 million family caregivers in the state of Florida. Our theory of change is to improve the overall well-being of the patient and provide peace of mind to more than 400 plus caregivers that identify long-distance caregivers. During our pilot phase, we aim to measure our success by residents' health outcomes, family satisfaction, engagement, and response time. We're a service-based platform offering nurse advocacy through a subscription-based model. Our ideal customer is the 400 plus caregivers that are middle-aged members that identifies long-distance caregivers seeking additional oversight for a loved one in a facility that they're away from. Our family's main concerns are about the quality of life of their loved one, lack of timely updates, and a need for professional oversight to improve safety and the well-being of their loved one. The Care and Support service doesn't replace the nursing home staff. Instead, we fill the gap by delivering detailed insights into the quality of life, care, and safety of a resident. Through our data-driven dashboard, families receive accessible reports, recommendations, and next step implementations to ensure that their loved ones are receiving the highest standard of care. Our system helps to strengthen frontline oversight, support continuous monitoring, mitigate risk, and promote equitable care and safety. So by doing so, we help families to stay informed, confident about the well-being of their loved one, even from a distance. We provide a two-tier approach. The first is a one-time assessment fee for families, and if they want continuous monitoring, then they fall into the tier of subscription-based model. Within the past week, we've onboarded Dr. Florence, who's agreed to do a pilot with us and provide us with 4 to 7 patients, in addition to taking us to assisted living facilities that have also agreed to partake in our pilot. We are a team of senior advisors, healthcare, and tech individuals, and what's special about us is the nurses that we attract are individuals that have been displaced out of the workforce due to health issues, so we're tapping into an untapped pool of employment. Our next milestone is to scale the pilot, expand our customer base, and our ask is for funding and strategic partnerships for sustainable growth. Come join us in revolutionizing the care for seniors, and if you're interested in hearing more, please reach out to me.
Mike, great work, man.
Thank you.
That was
so much.
awesome.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
and
much.
this is another great example of one of those like challenges that unless you've been through it, you might not have even thought about it. Like, can you say you had one quick slide there about how you got acquainted with the problem? Can you just restate that for us real quick so we get a sense of it?
Hey, absolutely. It was a gentleman that I met while I was in college. I had to do shadowing for to get into graduate school. He was in a nursing home. Family did not like how the care was going. It was just a job at that point in time. I got truly invested in it. And then over the course of time, I realized how advocacy can actually benefit patients and how the ones who did either have families or somebody advocating for them ultimately receive better care and better outcomes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's like a part of that that's really intuitive. Like if there's someone checking up on the care, it's going to end up being better. And it seems like an important place. Like, you know, you don't have to pay that much attention to generational trends to know the healthcare industry is growing significantly and will continue to grow for the next 15 years, probably, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you describe for us who your customer is one more time? You talked a little bit about families. And at the end, you had the slide about the doctor that you're partnering with. Talk to us a little bit about who you understand your customer to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've realized through an extensive research going through Rally that our customer is, and Kyle really kind of drilled this down on me, is
Good at that.
our customer base is not actually just one individual, but it's caregivers that's broken out into 2 segments, and it's one, the person that's actually providing the care. So that's the individual that may be going out to the facility or providing the actual care to mom whether in a facility. And the second one may actually be the decision maker. That may be the brother or son or daughter that stays a while away that's actually contributing financially to the situation. So that's how we've broken down our customer segments.
I love that. So you have the caregiver or the health provider who's not an employee of the nursing home who may be delivering care into the nursing home.
Yeah.
And you have the family member who's hoping that their loved one in the facility is being taken care of well. Either of those people could contract Care and Support to kind of audit the service and make sure it's going in the right direction.
Yes, absolutely. And within the last 2 weeks, I guess during our experimental phase, we've also had senior care specialists reached out to us too to see how our services have been working.
That's great. So do you feel like that's your immediate next step is to pilot there with those healthcare providers? Is that what you're hoping to do very next?
Well, actually, what we learned is like any industry, relationships are important. And the same doors I've been knocking on that I did not get into is the same doors that Dr. Florence went to these same individuals and got us in there within a matter of minutes because she has clients there. So we've determined from an expansion standpoint and get into these facilities, it's better to go directly to nurse practitioners and doctors
Yeah.
and just peter off of those relationships to get into there.
That's a really good insight, and one of those ones that you only learn from getting out there and talking and figuring out, which is awesome for us to hear. That's the strategy, right? That's that lean strategy. Awesome, Mike. Well, dude, like your tenacity is inspiring. The way that you keep believing in this business model and attacking it is one that should motivate lots of people. So we're really proud of you and expect nothing but this a great success for you looking forward. Thanks for coming through the program, Mike.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the rally makers and you, Ben and Erica. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
You, Colin and Erica. Thank you.
Our next fellow for us this morning is Caroline Nickerson.
Hello, my name is Caroline Nickerson, and I'm the Executive Director of Florida Community Innovation, a social good tech nonprofit. I am so honored to be a Rally Fellow and so excited to be talking with you today. So, who are we at FCI, or better yet, what do we do? Well, FCI empowers student researchers and civic technologists to serve communities. And we do this through our social impact model, which is experiential learning for social good, grounded in community listening. Basically, we have college students working in partnership with community members under industry mentorship to do research, to build technologies, and to engage in other social good programs. Why do we do this? Well, as an educator, I know we all prosper when we learn together. However, students struggle to break into tech and social impact careers. Multiple studies have found this, and therefore, community problems go unaddressed. FCI is ready to step into this gap and provide a platform for collaboration between students, community members, and industry to make us all better off. Our beneficiaries are threefold. We have the students who are seeking growth and opportunities for impact. We have industry mentors who want connections with the next generation and a validated way to do good. And we have community partners who are seeking tech help, especially social and community workers, and there are over 14,000 of them in the state of Florida. With our impact model, we have students who work with industry mentors to scope a project, which we then iterate through community listening, and ultimately we end up with social good tech products that are maintained by FCI. We are currently seeking companies that want to partner with us for CSR programs, corporate social responsibility. We can provide turnkey opportunities to do good, on-the-ground community contacts, and potentially even create a talent pipeline with the students that these organizations will be working alongside. So the form this program can take can be ongoing mentoring, where the employees of these organizations are working alongside the students and helping them on projects like the Florida Community Resource Map, which is poised to be the go-to resource directory for social and community workers to find food banks, job resources, and more for their clients. These can also be weekend hackathons or flexible volunteering sessions. We're hoping that companies contribute annual funding for ongoing mentoring and projects, as well as one-time event funding if that's of interest. We know this will work because we've had successful programs at over 5 different universities and industry mentors for 2 years with Code GMV. But we're ready to scale and we're ready to formalize this thing. These are our students who are so excited to work with you. And over the next 12 months, we're hoping to establish 3 different CSR programs that build out key features of the resource map. So we can't wait to work with you. Email me if you're interested, info@floridainnovation.org, or check us out at floridainnovation.org. Thank you so much.
Caroline, awesome. I love that you brought your Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood background along with you. That has been a fun part of the program. And I also, fun part of the program has been watching your initiative and strategy learn and evolve through the 4 months. And so this offering for college students and CSR professionals, talk to us about how you found that value in the course of the 4 months.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things I've learned the most from you, Kyle and Erica, is learning how to monetize what we are already doing in a way that's sustainable. So we have these student programs, that's our real strength, our partnerships. But learning how to have those partnerships have the financial support as well. So we're really good at working with universities, and our resource map is a byproduct of that because we empower these talented students to build things like the resource map. And we've had industry mentors come in through volunteering organizations, but through going through Rally and learning about the idea like, okay, you can have a sustainable business model that actually keeps this going rather than having to chase grants. Our chase donations has been the big game changer, and we ultimately settled on the CSR model. And I hope that people who are listening want to come on board with us and make this a sustainable thing that's for the long term.
Yeah, I totally, just with the seat that we sit in, we have worked with college students at different levels, and it is definitely a skill to know how to structure engagement with college students in a way that delivers value outside of the university setting. So the fact that you figured out how to do that and can do it lots, I've encountered your college students. It's cool to see that you've done that. The other thing that you mentioned that people might not get that we've seen at Rollins is like the growing interest in social enterprise and social impact among college students and the difficulty in connecting to real world opportunities. Can you talk a little bit? You're definitely seeing that. You mentioned that in your engagement with college students, right?
Yeah, and I think I wish I had more time in that 3-minute presentation, but
Yeah.
I'm glad we're hitting it now.
Yeah.
So I just wrapped up a PhD at the University of Florida, and I think a mistake that people make when they work with college students is they don't align incentives. So we're really strategic about when we're working with the students that we work with at the University of Michigan, it's part of a formal course, or if it's part of a student organization, they're incentivized to complete the work in some way. And we make sure we always start with the why. And I think that's part, we wrote, if you go to floridainnovation.org, you can find a publication we wrote about how to design student programs for impact. Because I think the incentive structure piece is what a lot of people really miss when they work with college students, and the accountability piece. But we also are really intentional about our recruitment. Our biggest programs at the University of Florida, we've had some students from UCF as well. I want more because I'm born and raised Orlando. I want more UCF representation, but our UF program's been our biggest and our most successful. And it's because with our recruitment, we're not recruiting for skill, we're recruiting for passion. And we also ask the students to tell us how this would make a difference in their life. So we are getting students who maybe they failed a class and they're having a hard time finding internships after that and they need a second chance. Our students who are first generation college students they understand their communities really well and they want to build tech for them. So we give space for students to say that in the application process. And because we're not doing technical assessments and recruiting on that level that like they normally might for a tech or research internship, we're able to get a really motivated cohort who are able to build great things with community members, not for community members.
Caroline, I love, like, even in your answer there, we get a sense of your scientific approach to everything, which is really awesome. And so definitely you guys have figured out how to engage college students and create skill-based volunteer opportunities for corporations and connect to meaningful projects in their community. So definitely floridainnovation.org as companies are looking for the ways to connect to those opportunities. Caroline, congratulations. We're so proud of the fact that you made it through this program with us, so that we got to work with you and to see what comes next. We know there's great things. Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our next Rally Fellow from this cohort is Morgan Bevell.
I'm Morgan Bevell, and this is Bevell's Advocate, a nonprofit organization on a mission to empower, educate, and assist families of individuals with disabilities. This mission is very personal to me. My sister has a learning disability, and while watching my mom attend her school meetings when growing up, I noticed the emotional toll it took on her and that schools don't always do what's fair or right. Flash forward 10 years and I'm seeing the same cycle repeat with Grace, my friend pictured here. I plan to break this cycle and be advocates for millions of families, just as my mom once was for my sister and I am for Grace. There are 7.5 million children with disabilities, and 80% of them are not receiving the entirety of support schools are legally required to provide. As such, they experience lower academic achievement and higher levels of mental distress. Our beneficiary is school-age children who have learning, intellectual, or cognitive disabilities. Our plan is to take these children from achieving low academically to opening the door for them to access opportunities that allow them to thrive. The way we are going to do this is through our services and free resources. We will measure our success through an increase in graduation rates, test scores, and individualized education program goal completion rates. For those who don't know, an individualized education program, or IEP, is a personalized plan for a child with disabilities that outlines goals, services, and accommodations to help them succeed. The venture that will help us achieve our social impact will target the parents of these children who are feeling frustration and overwhelmed with special education programs, isolation, and have limited knowledge of quality community resources. Our solution consists of one-on-one coaching and support, detailed reviews of educational records, involvement in all communication, providing access to our network of resources, and more. We are a nonprofit organization, but have market-facing services that clients will pay for. A one-time cost for an individualized education program or behavior intervention plan review is $365. To obtain the ongoing advocacy, it is a monthly subscription of $200. Because of our benevolent contribution, thanks to our volunteers and individuals supporting our cause, we have assisted over 35 families in varying capacities in our very first year. I am the founder and primary advocate for our organization, but my amazing team have also been key participants in advancing our cause. In the next 12 months, we plan to serve 500 families. In order to reach this goal, we need $350,000 to bring in additional advocates. We need people who are passionate about our cause to join our team. And we need introductions to organizations that serve children with special needs. I'm Morgan Bevell, and this is Bevell's Advocate.
Morgan, I wanted to jump up when I saw that first slide and go, she's not in Utah anymore. She moved to Florida.
I did too. I was like, we need to update that.
Really glad to see you here today. Thanks for taking the time. And one of the things I thought immediately in working with you is you realized how personal and passionate, how personal the problem is to you and how passionate you are at addressing it. Maybe just to get us started, what's one thing that you really love about doing this work?
I love that you can see the true impact. It's so, it fills my cup. It is just the most fulfilling work. And the gratitude that you receive for just even the smallest little things, like teaching what an IEP is, or just saying you go to a meeting, explain what one of the acronyms are, or the smallest things. The families are just so grateful, and it makes all the world a difference because of all the things that they're experiencing and trying to navigate. And so it's just so gratifying to be able to help them.
Yeah, Morgan, we, in our applications, we saw a growing number of people trying to address this problem of how do we help neurodiverse or challenged students in public education navigate that well. In your dream scenario, if you have a family or a student that's using Bevell's Advocate, what's their downstream outcome? What will be improved or bettered because they've been working with you? What do you hope to see in the world?
I hope that they'll be independent and great members of society. They'll be able to achieve independence in whatever that looks like for them. It might not be independence as we commonly think of it, but they'll be able to have a job. They'll graduate with a diploma. They will, be able to navigate the public transportation system. They'll be able to contribute more to our society than, whereas if they're maybe not treated well or prioritized in their education, then maybe they may not be able to experience these things.
Totally, yes, and I think that future is definitely available. You've been working with those like kind of in the R&D phase with those 35 families that you talked about. And really over the 4 months, one of the key things we've been trying to do is figure out how to productize or your service. So at the end there, you talked about 2 different purchasing options where you have the one-time engagement or the ongoing engagement. Do you feel like right now you're in a position to deliver that? Like, can people engage you in those product offerings now? Or what is your next step?
Absolutely. So we've been offering those things. We've just been doing it in more of a, we weren't charging people for it at the time. And so I've been doing it for the past year. And so we're fully capable of doing that right now. Whereas if we're looking forward to the next year, just being able to grow in capacity. So being able to serve that full 500 families. Unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to do that by myself. So that's where the investment comes in, to bring on people, to have people join our team so that we're able to make the biggest impact possible.
Awesome. Morgan, I was chuckling at you taking care of 500 families. They'd get a great service, but you're right. We could do better.
I'll try my best, but
Yes.
I am not sure I
Awesome.
could do that.
Well, thanks for being a Rally Fellow. We're very proud of the work that you've done and look forward to what comes next, Morgan. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right now, what we want to do is bring up for you one of our Rally alumni. Once you're a Rally Fellow, you're always a Rally Fellow, and we try and find the ways to keep working with you. One of the ones that we want to feature right now is Molly and Softly Solutions. Molly, thanks for being here with us today.
Hey, thanks, Ben. It's nice to see you again.
Totally. I'm trying to remember. I have a note here, summer of 23. So it was this time a year ago that you were showcasing out. Maybe you have memories of your getting your pitch into 3 minutes and packaging it up. What I remember of Softly Solutions a year ago is that you all were focused on helping clients, usually corporate retail, even consumer packaged goods clients, that were validating green claims that they made and assessing the validity of green claims that their competitors made. So it was a software service that you provided. How are you guys? Is that still the product that you're offering? Where are you guys at now a year later?
Yeah. Good overview, by the way.
Okay,
So
great.
Rally was so instrumental in helping us determine the direction of Softly. When we left Rally, we knew, like you said, we had all this valuable intelligence and data to help businesses avoid inadvertent greenwashing or potentially misleading sustainability claims.
Yeah.
Because businesses, they need to feel comfortable that they're sharing the good work that they're doing without the fear of litigation. So since we graduated from Rally, we compiled this intelligence and launched an amazing platform. Our Green Claim Navigator, it's a self-serve tool that equips businesses with the information that they need to confidently make green claims.
Oh, wow. So it's self-serve now. It's a platform where you can go in armed with the information you have about your product and then validate green claims you might want to make. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of like that. So you go in there, you actually say, first of all, what product category do you sell in? What green claim are you looking to make? In what region, like where do you sell? And what we're going to do is we're going to arm you with all the information you need, such as case law, regulations, competitive insights having to do with sustainability. So when you go to make that claim in the market, you have all the information that you need.
Amazing. So you would create a platform that's out there that people can engage. And did you give us the URL? How do we find that platform?
Yeah. So go to softlysolutions.com. It's
Yeah.
called the Green Claim Navigator, and it is so powerful. It reduces the time that it takes to research your sustainability claims from hours to seconds.
Awesome. And who's if you had to design who's the sweet spot for that platform that will get the most benefit out of it, how would you describe that person, Molly?
Yep. So it's either going to be a sustainability manager at our company, marketing, legal, or it could be actually pre-product. So product developers need to know kind of what they're dealing with and how to make the claim.
Awesome. I remember when we worked with you guys, myriad of certifications out there. No one can keep up with them. There's so many different claims, certifications, opportunities, and it's getting to the point where people are afraid to make claims because they don't want to get caught, right? So
That's exactly it. That's
yeah,
exactly it.
awesome. Molly, what's next for Softly Solutions?
Yeah, so now it's actually just growing our platform. We've had so much interest, a lot from consumer packaged good industry. So, people that actually make products that make some sort of claim on it, but
Sure.
really anybody that's making some sort of sustainability claim should use our tool before they go to market with it.
Awesome. Molly, we're really proud of you guys continuing the fight on a project. It's a problem that's really worth addressing. And Softly Solutions, check it out and validate your green claims. Thanks, Molly.
Thanks, Ben.
Yep. Our next Rally Fellow that we want to feature for you all this morning from this cohort is named Luis Antonio Uribegan.
PAD is creating a path to homeownership that adapts to your budget and lifestyle. PAD is creating equitable and adaptive housing solutions for individuals and families who are precariously housed and spend more than 30% of their income on housing. We are excited to provide adaptive housing that can adapt and transform people's lives. Approximately 40.6 million households in the US are precariously housed. This leads to many of these people living in conditions less than ideal, including living in spaces intended for less occupants, as well as many living in unsafe areas and structures. Our target customers are young adults between the ages of 18 and 45 who find themselves precariously housed in all the metropolitan areas across North America. PAD will use a number of metrics to ensure that individuals will not remain precariously housed within PAD communities. Now let's talk about our business model. Our business model is to become a one-stop shop that converts vacant commercial spaces into vibrant infill housing communities. Our target customers are millennials and Gen Zs, new generations that like mobility, that like eco-construction, that like community, and that like the idea of something that actually changes with their lifestyle. Traditional housing falls short of this. Now imagine that you have a one studio, and with just adding 8 more pieces that we call PAD particles, you can convert that studio into a one-bedroom apartment. We are creating new models of ownership that actually adapts with you, that you can add to that ownership as your lifestyle changes. So really you have a studio, and then you can go into a one-bedroom apartment very easily, and into the same building or even to another part in the country or world. PAD adapts to your lifestyle and budget. Let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to do. We're raising around 1.5 million in a pre-seed safe. Our estimated revenues would be, after having our first PAD community in 2026, $2 million of net revenue. In 2027, we grow to 7 million. By the third PAD community, we are around 13 million. Matt and I want to transform housing for the future. We have an amazing board of advisors, and we would like to talk more about what our ideas are to create a path to home ownership and to actually transform lives of people. Thank you.
Luis, man, you got through a lot in that presentation. Way to go, man. And I'm really glad that you took the time to be with us here today. It's been fun to work with you for the last 4 months. And of course, housing is a problem that Central Florida cares deeply about. It's complex. It involves so much, so many moving pieces. But you guys are attacking it from from a foundational level, let's reimagine the whole system. Luis, can you just say briefly, like what you were doing before this, how you got into this, to addressing this problem?
I like when Ben uses briefly with me because he knows that I can go deep into things. Right. But yeah, no. I think that it's amazing how as architects and urbanists, and Matt and I have worked in Detroit, a city that has reimagined itself. We realized that housing was a problem that really affected the city deeply. And as we were walking into talking into different things that affect housing, we saw that it is intrinsic in every human's being, progress through life to get a safe housing, and then we realized that it touches so many parts of their life. Mm-hmm. Matt has also some comments about it.
Initially, my background is in product design, industrial design, and I looked at housing initially when we first met, all the way back around like 2005. I worked for a company that did metal stampings, and I evaluated how the structural elements of metal stampings were integral to cars, and we thought, well, why wouldn't you be able to do something similar for housing that's less wasteful? So that was kind of where things started. Is I thought, why is it that every time somebody wants to change something in their house, they have to basically like throw out all the old drywall and these old studs that get broken up and all that? This system basically eliminates that waste, and everything can be reused multiple times. And then Luis kind of came up with this idea that, well, if we can make the space adaptive, what about location?
Yeah.
And so now we've opened up this whole paradigm where we've got like, not only can you be flexible with how your space looks and how big it is at any given point, you also can just relocate easily and still maintain ownership that doesn't have to be based off of another transaction. You know? Yeah,
I love the vision of let's own these components of homes that are constructed into living spaces that match our place in life and travel with us as we move into different areas. I think it's a really compelling and beautiful vision, and you guys have been working down the road. You mentioned looking at the investments. I know you're negotiating one investment right now. What would be the next introduction? What would be the best way someone watching could help PAD take its next step right now?
We're definitely looking to put our pilots in different cities in North America. So we were talking to people in Orlando and Lake Lonna, and we have discussions obviously in Detroit, where we both live and work, and Mexico City, where a lot of our interests and partnerships have happened. But the idea is to find a way and structure introductions to people that would be interested in us showing them how PAD can actually do two things: is convert empty commercial real estate into housing very quickly and very affordably compared to converting a whole building, for example.
Yeah.
So we are what we call that infill conversion idea. Awesome. And then bring vibrant concepts and vibrant communities into those empty commercial real estate.
Awesome. So the introduction's infill conversion. People that have buildings that are looking for innovative strategies on how to fill it. Guys, we are so excited to see how you take this concept and help change housing for this demographic that's ready for new solutions and might be precariously housed now. Thanks for coming through the program. We're really looking forward to see what comes next. Congratulations, guys.
Honored to go through it, and thank you for everything.
Awesome. Our final fellow for this morning is Dion Richardson.
Hi, my name is Dion with Dreamline. Our mission is to provide access to resources for energy efficient and clean energy projects, primarily in underserved communities. And what drove me to that work was after 20 years of working directly in the frontline communities, identifying what problems they were facing, I saw that technology would be able to really solve a lot of those challenges. Lack of access, a lack of awareness, and misappropriation has led to over $683 million of waste per day, leaving millions of households in inefficient energy systems. Our beneficiaries are directly located in those communities, and we've been able to pinpoint them directly with our Green Zones mapping tool. That tool allows us to overlay the Justice 40 Census Tract as well as the Opportunity Zone Census Tract and locate those communities specifically. Everything we do revolves around data. We extract data at a high level, pre-project, during the project, post-project. Some of the keys that we track are increases in property value, decrease or elimination of energy costs and consumption, financial health of individuals, and economic development of the community as a whole. Our business model is an all-in-one platform that allows us to streamline communication and allows for all of our users to join our platform at no cost and experience the platform until project completion without having to pay for anything. Our users include property owners, incentive providers, and contractors with a specific focus on commercial property owners as we go to market. Some of the key pain points include no standard impact reporting, and some of the goals that we have are efficient capital allocation. Our AI-powered platform starts with incentive deployment with over 10,000 incentives in our database. We use machine learning algorithms to rapidly identify, apply, and deploy those incentives. Our detailed project management process is not only physical, but also digital, with on-site, hands-on, direct contact with contractors and property owners. And our granular impact reporting captures data from throughout the entire process and provides that reporting back to everybody involved. That revenue stream that we have includes a 5% transaction fee for every project. We also offer a fee per service that allows the property owners a lot more flexibility. The traction that we've experienced is over 100 energy assessments and over 5 different marketplaces. And we have 150 incentive providers in our pipeline that we've been onboarding with over $500 million of capital at their disposal. By reducing the cost of ownership while increasing efficiency, residents in underserved communities will experience significant savings and economic growth. Our team, comprised of myself, as well as over 300 IT professionals who are interns and have diverse backgrounds. And some of the key milestones that we have are January full release of our platform, hiring a new CTO, and some of the organizational needs that we have are looking for beta tests and feedback and $100,000 of capital for a full-time CTO. Again, my name is Dion with Dreamline. Thank you, and looking forward to speaking to you all.
Yeah, man. I was like thinking people will underestimate Dion at their own peril, man. You got so much information into that slide deck. I'm so impressed. Can you just say real quickly for us, like, what was the problem that animated you to drive this solution? Like, what did you see that you wanted to be different in the world?
Yeah, I'll go back to kind of being on the front lines and, working through not only, my background was in real estate when everybody else was jumping out of real estate, back in 2008. And then I transitioned into corporate remodeling, which gave me a chance to sit around boardroom tables and unfortunately seen some bad apples out there who were printing off lists of zip codes and scratching off the zip codes and then blaming the data or blaming algorithms for why they were deliberately denying services in those communities. And so having that experience of seeing the boardroom table and also being at the kitchen table with those homeowners when they get credit declined or when they don't have access to some of those resources, it kind of drove me to try to find, solutions.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to restate what I heard you say. You notice a trend in the industry to avoid certain zip codes because of maybe the makeup of those zip codes. People felt like they would be less productive or make less money. So they avoided delivering products and services into that space that could help homeowners and business owners in those places to thrive. And so you wanted to figure out, how do I deliver these construction and energy solutions to building owners in these underserved zip codes? Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's unfortunately common practice where you can drive through a neighborhood and see, where there's clusters or collective properties that have been, or look like they have been abandoned or look like they have been, like they don't have pride of ownership in those areas. But the reality is those property owners are not getting the information. They're not getting the education. They're not getting pitched those products and services. because all of the companies, have decided that it's not worth the time or effort or energy to go into those areas. So mutually beneficial solutions, that were win-win solutions to eliminate friction for those companies to kind of go into those areas, and also would be a win for the residents in those locations.
Awesome. I understand now. Thanks, Dion. And now I'm thinking about the end of your presentation where you have this platform, this Dreamline platform. And I know that you have been delivering these energy evaluations of buildings, but now this platform, talk to me about who would engage the platform. Is that the customer or is that a homeowner? And like, how does the money change hands in that platform?
Yeah, for sure. So like you mentioned, we've been able to do a lot of the services, quote unquote, offline initially to gather feedback. So that's what we've been doing up to this point, is conducting property assessments, helping property owners get into some of those projects, directing them towards contractors, completing some of the work outside of the platform while we've been building it. And then the platform essentially would allow for all of the stakeholders to collectively engage directly on the system. So that includes property owners, whether they are residential, commercial, or tenants. That also includes incentive providers, so local, state, federal governments, as well as financing institutions or nonprofits or otherwise. And then last but not least, the contractors to be able to go into that platform, be able to communicate amongst each other, and then also be able to have streamlined, frictionless execution on those projects.
Awesome. It's robust, Dion, and something to be proud of, man. Thank you for diving into a problem that most people drove right by, for developing and persisting to find a solution that will address the problem. We're really excited to see what comes next. We want to give the final word today to our key partner, CEO of Central Florida Foundation, Mark Brewer. Mark, thanks for being here, bud.
Thank you, Ben, and thanks for all you do. I just want to say congratulations to all the fellows that have come through this cohort. You can see the inspiration, you can see the enthusiasm, and you can see that these folks are attacking complicated things, but not in complicated ways. They're figuring out how to solve problems that others either haven't or couldn't. And that's the miracle, I think, of Rally. That's what we love about it. And since the first day Ben and I met, we've been working together trying to figure new ways to give people the things that they need to be successful. The foundation likes partnering with Rally because we see the future of the nonprofit sector in the faces of the people you just met. The ability to come with creative and innovative strategies that not only attract capital, but also attract customers at the same time. That's the vision, and it's working. I also want to encourage you to become a Rally Maker or to join the efforts. Rally Makers are unique in that these are folks that make investments in the Accelerator and bring their own authentic life knowledge, and they also bring with them the ability to connect people to things they may need. And if that fits something you're interested in doing, I want you to reach out to rallysea.com and take a look there. You'll also find lots of other people in the background who are working on strategies to help these fellows get where they want to get and to get them into a high growth mechanism. I also want to thank all the attendees today, Rally Makers, alumni, the community partners who are here. Thank you all for your support. We all couldn't do this without your help. And if you want to connect to further talk about the fellows or stay with them, because I think these are people you're going to want to keep your eye on for a number of reasons, just know you can watch them at Rally SEA on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. All of these places you'll be able to follow these folks. And I can't leave without letting you know that applications are open for the winter 2025 cohort. They're only open until midnight tomorrow night. So this would be the time to go to rallysea.com, get your application in, learn about all these folks and the work that they're doing, and look back over the last 7 years and see the success stories that have come through Rally. Much of that is due to Ben and Kyle and Erica and to all of the volunteer leaders around the table and the Rally makers who come to the table with both money and knowledge to make these things happen. Thanks to all of you, and thank you, Ben, for a great job today.
Awesome. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.